I'm Eric Parker this morning on CT21, leaving the GOP. We'll talk to two local leaders who have decided the Republican Party is no longer for them. Plus, new leadership is coming to the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association at a time when police turmoil has been in the headlines. We'll talk to Chief Patrick Ridnour coming up. And as the weather turns warmer, you might be thinking about heading to one of Connecticut's state parks. But after a year of COVID-related restrictions, what will this summer look like? The DEEP commissioner will be joining us. It's all ahead this Sunday morning, May 23rd. CT21 starts right now.
From Channel 3, this is Connecticut's most watched current affairs program, CT21, with Eric Parker. Sponsored by Hartford Healthcare.
This week, the Democrat-dominated U.S. House of Representatives put together a commission to investigate the January 6th deadly insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. That bill's fate in the Senate is still unclear. Also this week, Representative Liz Cheney was removed from a leadership post after refusing to go with the Republican line that there was actually an incorrect outcome of the presidential election. Some in the GOP say they back former President Trump and they back the party's actions. Others aren't so sure. Two men in that latter group are joining us this morning. Chip Beckett, a town councilor in Glastonbury, and Lee Gold from West Hartford are both with us this morning. Mr. Beckett, I want to start with you. You decided to change your party affiliation away from the Republican Party. Why'd you make that decision?
Because I think if you want to influence anybody, you need to be part of a party. One person and 3.5 million people isn't going to get enough attraction to have any ideas to change public policy.
And so you felt that this party was not in sync with your views anymore?
The Republican Party?
Yes, sir.
Not nationally. I think the last straw for me was when Ken Paxton sued the other states for COVID-19 related changes in voting rules. And I thought that was bad, but when the majority of the congressmen supported it, I thought they really don't believe in elections. And so then it's just who has a bigger club to beat each other up.
All right, I want to turn to Lee Gold. You've decided not only to leave the Republicans, but you're joining a new old party, I guess you would say, a Connecticut party, which was Lowell Weiker's party when he ran for governor back in 1990. Why did you decide to go with that choice?
Eric, thanks for having me, and I appreciate that. You know, I did decide to leave the Republican Party. It was done so with a heavy heart. You know, a party that I've been a member of since the day I began voting, and I remember casting my first ballot for, actually my father was the mayor in Wethersfield at a time as a Republican. I became increasingly aware and concerned with the direction that the GOP was heading. The events of January 6th were very disturbing to me, and I think a lot of the nation felt the same way. You know, I think it was eye-opening and leading all the way through till the ousting of Liz Cheney truly was the last straw in my mind as to why we needed to move into a more moderate position. And I think Lowell Weiker's party, Governor Weiker's party, is a perfect opportunity to provide that moderate centrist idea in West Hartford. And I think it's important for the town. It's important for the state and the national level as well.
Now, one thing that makes you different than Dr. Beckett is that you are going to be affiliated with some other members running on a slate. Is that correct? And was that an important part of your decision not to just go independent?
That's a great question. I felt that it was important to have a louder voice for the moderate people in the town. It was very important to really disentangle from the extremes. The extremes are having much more of a voice that was, I think, clouding the situation. And I think it was important to bring us into the middle, so to speak, and have that voice and that void filled, having a slate of capable, intelligent, transparent, hardworking people with good thoughts, good ideas, positive ideas, looking to make a difference and a change, as Dr. Beckett indicated before, is very important. And having 4 members running on a slate together as a Connecticut party is instrumental in the functioning of what's going on in West Hartford.
And do you think it will expand beyond just West Hartford Town Council, Mr. Gold? Because I think there might be some concern that, the Lowell Weiker, who created this party, everyone hears Lowell Weicker and all they think is income tax. So do you worry, whether that's fair or not, that might just be what's immediately associated with this party?
Well, that is one of the things that becomes front of the mind. However, it was something that was worked out by the entire legislature. It was something that not only he, but the Republicans and Democrats at the time voted to bring forward and implement. There was some great ideas working across the aisle, working with both sides, both parties, and bringing, there's too many people of the silent majority type that are moderate, centrist, who have ideas that want to be voiced. And I think it's important to have that voice heard. I think the A Connecticut Party is a perfect opportunity for creating that vehicle again.
Well, I'm sure
there are. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I'm sure a lot of people who are listening this morning are thinking, okay, reach across the aisle, centrist, that all sounds good. Dr. Beckett, let me ask you, in Connecticut, 6,500 Republicans have switched parties since Election Day, which was a 300% increase over the last presidential election year. Does that number surprise you, or do you expect that there's a lot of people watching this morning nodding their heads at both what you and Mr. Gold are saying?
I think there's a lot of people nodding their heads. The bigger number is not how many left the Republican Party. It's that 45% of people are unaffiliated at all. The two parties almost are minorities. And so I think that there's a big struggle about who could represent that great middle of the quote unquote silent majority. There's a number of minor parties that none of which have attracted enough attention, but together I think if they could come together would represent the 60 or 70% of us that are really in the middle and not really partisan and not interested in the culture wars on either end.
And does that speak at all to the closed primary system in Connecticut? Because whether it's a Connecticut party or just independents like you, Dr. Beckett, if they were able to participate in some of these primaries, wouldn't that increase the power?
Yeah, I think open primaries should be what we should be doing. There's no doubt about that. There's certainly other election reforms we should be doing too, because Connecticut's got very restrictive laws about that.
I saw an interview with you, Dr. Beckett, where you said you weren't sure if you'd seek another term. Is it just tough being a politician right now?
Yeah, it's tough. But I've done it for 16 years. So I think the question for me is, do I stay on as a solo independent? Do I try to put together a party like Lee is for Glastonbury, which hasn't had a third party locally? Or do you just say it's time to retire? And I haven't made that decision yet.
All right, Lee, I want to finish with you. We just have a few moments left. If someone's watching this morning and saying, hey, I like this, a Connecticut party, I want to get in on that, are you hoping that this will spread?
I do. And I hope Dr. Beckett continues on with his political career, because we need more people like him. So thank you for all your service as I'm beginning my career. But I 100% think that this is a great opportunity to go beyond West Hartford and look towards other areas of the state.
All right, Chip Beckett from Glastonbury, Lee Gold from West Hartford. We appreciate both of you being with us this morning, and I think this is a topic we'll be talking about quite a bit in the future. So thanks for being with us here on CT21. Coming up later this morning, we're going to be talking about getting outdoors. What does the summer have to hold at Connecticut State Parks? And right after the break, the new head of the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association will join us. Stay tuned.